Which of the revenge games are you most looking forward to this year, Swagoo?
Tom Brady and Bill Belichick.
Ask your divorced friends. You know how much animosity built up in 20 years? I cannot wait.
Look, the bottom line of it is this. We finally get the answer to the question, what happens when you combine one guy who never says anything and another guy who always says the right thing? You call up the dad. That's exactly what happened yesterday, and we learned delightfully that Dad doesn't give a damn. Let's make this Straight Talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Tom Brady Sr. calling into a radio show in Boston yesterday. The Sports Hub with Zolak and Bertrand in Boston to talk about Tommy going back to Foxborough.
The schedule came out last night, and I started salivating when I saw that we play the Patriots in the fourth game of the season. We're coming up here to make our record 4-0 after the fourth game. So we expect to beat the Patriots rather handily, frankly.
Just awesome. Just awesome. Started salivating. Beat them rather handily. I love it. Because the perfect example of saying the right thing is what Tommy tweeted. I'm going to, in order to distinguish between the two of them, I'm going to refer to the Brady who is the quarterback as Tommy, which is what everyone who knows him calls him. I myself do not. So I don't want to make this sound as though, well, with my close, tight personal relationship with Tom Brady, I refer to him as Tommy, as many others do. But you have to have some way of distinguishing between Tom Brady Sr. and Tom Brady Jr. So yesterday, Tommy tweeted in reference to this game against New England, it's like when your college friends meet your high school friends. Hilarious, but no, it's not. It's not anything like that. I've experienced my college friends meeting my high school friends. It wasn't anything like this. This is the most interesting, hyped up, and significant regular season game in NFL history. And what does Tommy think? His dad told you what he thinks. That's what Tom Brady thinks. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. He doesn't think it's like when your college friends meet your high school friends. He doesn't think it's like any of the things he's going to say. You may remember on my old show on Mike and Mike, we used to have something called the ESPN translator, where we would play a soundbite from someone and then we would play you what they really meant to say. We should have the dad translator, like at the United Nations. You know, where you hear this voice talking in a language that you cannot distinguish, and then you hear the voice in English. So Tommy will say things like, oh, Coach Belichick was great for me in my career. I have great memories here, a lot of great players, a lot of great games. This will always be special, but this is just a game. And then you would hear his dad saying,
the schedule came out last night, and I started salivating when I saw that we play the Patriots in the fourth game of the season. We're coming up here to make our record 4-0 after the fourth game. So we expect to beat the Patriots rather handily, frankly.
That's the ESPN translator. That's the dad version of what it is. So that's what Tommy actually thinks, right? That's what Tom Brady thinks. You want to know what he thinks? Ask the dad. Much more interesting to me is what Bill thinks. Bill, of course, will say nothing, literally nothing. The ESPN translator on Bill will be exactly what he says. The ESPN translator will be, you know, a lot of good players. Tom won a lot of games. We got a lot of other things to worry about. That's what the translator will say. That's actually more, that voice I just did has more energy than the way Bill will say it. But deep inside, I wonder how he will feel. He might be the most, I'm not sure what the right word is. Not robotic. He's not robotic. He's not passionless. He's not emotionless. He's a human being. This can't be just another game. It just can't. If you're a human being, it's not. I actually got to thinking about this. What is the last time we've seen anything like this in sports? What is on the same level as this? I'm bringing the hashtag crew into the conversation here. Hashtag Hembo, hashtag Bubba, hashtag Nuno. Devin doesn't have a hashtag. But the ones that came to mind, Brett Favre going back to Green Bay. Favre went back as a Viking. He didn't go back as a Jet. Favre went from the Packers to the Jets, had a very good season, retired again. So he retired in Green Bay, came out of retirement, played for the Jets, retired again, came out of retirement, played for the Vikings, and went to Green Bay and beat the Packers. Remember, he took that Vikings team to an NFC championship game. And I remember the game he went there. It was a night game. Was it a Monday or a Sunday? I don't remember that, but it was a night game. And it was much hyped, and it was much ado, and it was a big deal, but it wasn't this. Brett Favre's an all-time great, first ballot Hall of Famer, Super Bowl champion. Not this. He didn't win 6. That's why I think back to when Michael went back to Chicago. Michael Jordan going back to Chicago was a wizard. Now, it is very difficult to compare an NBA regular season game with an NFL regular season game. It's just never going to have the same level of hype. But Michael Jordan's return to Chicago at the United Center, which, as my memory serves, came in a weekend afternoon in which the Bears were playing a playoff game the same day. It was in January, and the Bears had a playoff game that day. I'm 99.9% sure I'm remembering that right. Either way, Michael's return to Chicago, I think, has got to be the closest thing that we have to this. Won 6 championships, built everything. And people sometimes forget the Patriots. Yeah, they had been to a Super Bowl with Bill a few years before, but the Patriots weren't a model NFL franchise at all. And when I say Bill, I mean Parcells, of course. Then they get Belichick. Then they get Brady. And now it's the Patriot way. Now the two people who define the Patriot way go head-to-head. We've never seen anything like this, because when Michael came back to Chicago, everything that reminded you of him was gone. He didn't come back and play against Phil. He didn't come back and play against Scottie Pippen. He just came back. Brady is basically going right back where it was. And Brady versus Belichick, that's the most interesting matchup, I think, in the history of the regular season history of sports. Greeny with you. Guests join us on the Goodyear Hotline, helping you discover the road ahead. Goodyear, more Drevin. Hembo, have you got one that you think equals it or tops it?
I don't think anything could equal or top it. I do remember in 2013 when Peyton Manning went back to Indianapolis as a member of the Broncos, it being a very big deal, and it was an even bigger deal when the Broncos lost that game in Indianapolis. So that was the only one that would come close to this in recent memory.
Huge, agreed. And Peyton Manning basically built the stadium. I mean, there is a $1 billion facility called Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis that is in every way the house that Peyton built. And he's an all-time great, but it's not this. But it's a good analogy. Bubba, are you there? I think the last time we flashed to the studio there, I did not see hashtag Bubba. Oh, hashtag Bubba has returned.
I'm around.
Have you got anything that you think could compare to this?
Well, besides Mike Piazza returning as a San Diego Padre, no, not. I honestly think it's actually more Favre than Jordan, just because of the way it ended was more similar to what Favre was doing than Brady. Jordan retired. I think the Favre one is more similar, but no, I don't think there's anything that can top it, either Favre or Jordan.
No, David, anything? Is there anything I'm missing here? I mean, anyone?
Not in American sports, no.
Okay, then give me an international example.
Well, and I think it's actually fitting I'm going to bring this up since ESPN now will have the La Liga rights, but Barcelona, Real Madrid, Barcelona had a player named Luis Figo who left them for Real Madrid 2 years earlier, and while he was taking a corner kick, someone threw a pig's head at him. So there was that vitriol in his, as he was playing his former team.
Am I the only one who has no idea what he just said?
Look it up. Look it up.
I don't know. The only thing I got from that was La Liga.
I got pig's head.
Yeah, see, it all comes full circle.
I'm thrown. I'm a tad thrown. Let's just say in the history of American sports,